You know what I mean. You can feel the excitement, the tension, the charisma that surrounds that stadium every Saturday afternoon, especially 10 to 14 minutes before kickoff when a hush settles over that stadium and we all anxiously wait for that simple forward command to emanate out of the PA system. I can hear it now. Band take the field, and out of that eastern tunnel pour 215 well-drilled, well-disciplined Michigan bandsmen. They pour over the eastern sideline, they form the big block M, and they play the greatest college fight song ever written, the Michigan Victors.
And it runs Howard Beckler, but it's a little look at that. Oh my goodness. One man. Goodbye.
He runs Woodson all the way back to the 22-yard line. Woodson's got one block. And another block. One more. Touchdown. No flag.
Here's Henny back to throw. Henny looking. And he's firing on a post cut. Edwards has it. 10, 5, touchdown. Well, that's the guy they've been picking on, Jaron Hayes, and Braylon Edwards has his third touchdown grab of the game.
He's going to throw for it. He's got to throw it to the end zone. Lobs it up. One-on-one. Cut. Michigan touchdown. I can't believe this. Rory Roundtree.
No man is more important than the team. No coach is more important than the team. The team, the team, the team.
Welcome to another edition of the Gulo. And now, here are the Larrabee boys, Zach and Kyle.
So in 2003, Michigan was traveling to Minnesota to play the Minnesota Golden Gophers back when they played in the same dome, the Metro Dome that the Minnesota Vikings played in. Yes, you know, the one that collapsed in, I think, 2011 when all the snow fell inside the stadium. They're going there to play. John Navarre was the senior quarterback, and I actually had the pleasure to go and watch him when I was in second or third grade. It was my first Michigan game ever. That season, they went and played Minnesota on the road, and they found themselves in a deep hole. They dug themselves in a deep grave that didn't really seem possible to get out of. And Michigan was down 28-7 in the fourth quarter. They would come back to tie the game up, and John Navarre actually caught a long touchdown pass. I mean, the dude was 6'5", 6'6", 240-something pounds, bulldozing his way into the end zone. They tie the game up, and then Michigan's kicker wins the game for us with like 42 seconds left. And we go on to, again, claim the little brown jug for, I think it was the 40th or 42nd straight year that we did that. Could be wrong. But this rivalry that they came and that they came from behind and they won in this game really extended just a great margin of victory for Michigan over Minnesota. Now, we put the name rivalry in front of this game when sometimes it really doesn't feel like a rivalry because we've won so many games in a row against them up until that point. But the Big Ten, it's still a rivalry because there's a prize that you get from winning those types of games. For Michigan State, it's the Paul Bunyan Trophy, where we put the maize and blue helmet on with the maize pants. In this case, we win a trophy called the Little Brown Jug. And this trophy, or this Little Brown Jug, originated in the 1930s when Michigan went on to beat Minnesota in Minnesota, and they left and they forgot their water canteen. Now, during this time and age, in the 30s, the 1930s, the team would all drink from the same jug, and they left it there, and they called Minnesota back. Great Depression era. You don't want to leave anything behind. You're going to make sure you get all of your belongings because you can't really afford, I'm sure, new things. And so they call them and They ask for their jug back, and Minnesota's coach says, if you want it, you have to come win it. And so that's exactly what Michigan did for the continuing years. And they started this great rivalry. On the jug, you have year after year the winner of that game written on it. And Michigan has another opportunity to go and take the jug back home to Ann Arbor this Saturday for Michigan's first game in Big Ten opening on October 24th. It's been a crazy year. I'm getting juiced up already, man. I can't believe it's finally here after this long wait. But before I get too excited and go off the rails, Kyle, this rivalry is really deep. This rivalry is really deep. And as we welcome our listeners to week 3 of the Gulo, aka the Wolverine in Latin, we want to welcome our listeners, and we want to go a little bit deeper into this Michigan and Minnesota rivalry. So, Kyle, why don't you go ahead and share a little bit more about this rivalry between Michigan and Minnesota?
Yeah, sure will. So the biggest thing that I want to go over, and I had to look it up because I wasn't sure exactly on all the history on the little brown jug. I knew a little bit here and there, but thanks a lot for all the history you gave us too from the 1930s. I didn't know all that, so that was pretty cool. Pretty much history between Minnesota and Michigan. It goes all the way back to the first meeting of October 17th, 1892. And Minnesota ended up stealing that victory 14-6 against Michigan. And then ever since that, we've been having a barn burner. The longest win streak was Michigan, 16 games in a row from 1987 to 2004. The current streak right now, Michigan with 2, 2015 to present. The largest victory was Michigan, obviously, 58-0 in 2011, and a total of 103 meetings. The last meeting was November 4th in 2017 when Michigan beat Minnesota 33-10.
That's crazy. I think I messed up. I think I said Michigan's largest victory. The years was like 40-something years. That's totally untrue. It was 16 years, as you had just stated. And two for our listeners, Michigan and Minnesota, they don't play every single year. It's more of every couple years because they're on different sides of the conference. And so I think they beat us in 2014 or 13 during Michigan's dark ages. It was the game where our quarterback, I forgot his name, Kyle, number 7, concussion boy. He got a concussion. They put him back in. Shane Morris. They put him back in the game against Minnesota. We ended up losing the brown jug for the first time in a long time, and it was just super, super hard. And so, but then we go back in 2015, and this is Harbaugh's first year playing Minnesota, and this is his first year coaching Michigan. We go to Minnesota. We go, and I believe it was double overtime. It was a super cold game. Rudock gets hurt. Wilton Spate, your boy, comes in, throws a couple touchdown passes, and our defense stands off against Minnesota on a fourth, and it was a goal line stand where we ended up beating them. I believe it was like 32-29, and we're so thankful to have the Little Brown Jug back in Ann Arbor. And then we defeated them by a score of like 38-10 or 38-0 or something in 2017, and now we're here. Now we're here in 2020. This great rivalry that has continued since, like you said, 1892. We get to go off and we get to face a really good Minnesota team. And I'm excited. I'm nervous because the stakes are high. This is a road game. It's the opener. It's going to be cold. College game day is going to be there. We're going to get into that in a minute. But I'm super excited, just as I know you are as well. So thank you for that history. Again, before we go any further, I want to let you guys know again that this episode is brought to you by Nick Reed Media. Thank you so much, Nick Rittenauer, for all of your media and photography giftings that you bless us with, that you're able to draw up our logo for us and represent us with your small business. And so if you guys are looking for any of your media needs or photography needs, go ahead to Nick Reed Media and he'll get you set up there. He's a great guy that works for us at the church, and God's gifted him greatly, and he uses that for great use. And so, but Kyle, I want to jump back into football here. Big week for us this weekend. And this past weekend was super highly celebrated because we had some big college football games, but really we celebrated it because it was the last Saturday we were going to have to miss Michigan football. And so I got super excited. We don't have to miss it anymore. But bring us through a little bit about some games or bring us through some games that you, that caught your eye. I guess I know that we had Alabama and Georgia and North Carolina and Florida State. Bring us through some of those moments with us.
I mean, obviously the Alabama Georgia primetime game. That was a really good game. I mean, there was definitely, I think, some referee calls that were bad calls, but
I saw you throwing it out on Twitter. You're throwing it out on Twitter, pass interference.
Yeah, yep, and I mean, there was some of the jersey pulling and some of the other stuff where I was just like, some of this was some bad calls. But the North Carolina game, I was really on that game. I really thought North Carolina was going to come back and beat Florida State, but just goes to show you the number 5 team in the nation really wasn't number 5. So you had a 1-3 Florida State almost manhandle North Carolina the whole game, or at least for 2 quarters. And and I put it on Twitter that I believe North Carolina was going to adjust at half. Mac Brown was going to do a good job, and they were going to come out of the locker room and give it back to Florida State the way they did the first half. But it ended up being more Florida State in the third quarter, and then finally North Carolina started putting it together, but it was just too late. They got in the fourth quarter, and they just couldn't catch up in time, and they ended up losing by, I think it was like a touchdown or
a couple points. Yeah, I mean their receivers dropped like 3 straight passes to go into it was like a fourth
down, and they the quarterback had thrown it. They dropped the pass and had turndowns, but.
Yep. So number 5 team is no longer number 5. I don't think Notre Dame should be number 4. I think they barely got past Louisville. I think they're going to get blown out by Clemson, who just put up 70-odd points on Georgia Tech, and so they're obviously continuing to prove why they're still the number 1 team in the land.
That was another game that I watched. I was just like, wow. I really thought Notre Dame was going to lose that game. I thought Louisville was looking pretty good on defense. And, I thought Kelly, and I thought Notre Dame was going to pull another Notre Dame. Lose one of those upset games that.
That's right.
They ended up beating them, and.
And 2, it wasn't just big. Like obviously, it was a big college football weekend in general, but Michigan, even though we didn't play, we got some big news going into the weekend. Florida State's commit, the top 100 linebacker. Jennings, he decommitted from Florida State. And he had a couple of other places to choose from that were pursuing him. Clemson being the obviously big name that was pursuing him, and so was Miami. Well, he decided to commit to Michigan over those 2, and that says a lot from a kid who was down in Florida, going to commit to Florida State, bypassing Clemson, bypassing Miami, and going up to Michigan to be able to compete in this great conference. And to compete on this awesome, already loaded linebacker room. I mean, this is Michigan's 3rd All-American. All right, let me say it again. Michigan's 3rd All-American in just this class, this 2021 class at linebacker. So we have 3 All-Americans coming in next year at the linebacker core in an already stacked linebacker room. I think it's safe to say that Michigan now is linebacker U. People are using that word, wide receiver U, QB U. Michigan, I believe, is linebacker U. They are producing a lot of good linebackers.
And this just goes to show that Michigan slowly, organically is building a program that takes time. It takes time to slowly build a good, strong foundation, a good, strong program. It takes time. It takes years and years to build that up usually for most really good coaches. And Harbaugh hasn't had a lot of the luck on his side either in the past few years with some of the games, the outcomes. But it's happening. It's going to happen. Michigan is going to continue to reel in these recruits. I mean, I feel like this week I've been just retweeting every Michigan prospect that we end up getting from other schools. It's just been wild here in the last 2 weeks, especially in the linebacker group. because we have been landing. We just got that. What was it? Number 72. The what was his name again? Offensive tackle.
Oh yeah, Willie Allen. He was a LSU commit, and then he went and played for Louisiana Tech. He's a grad transfer who's coming over, and he'll be eligible next year to play for us. And he's a huge blindside tackle. I mean, this dude he's massive, and he's going to just continue to already build upon a good growing offensive line. And so, man, I'm excited. Like you said, I would 100% agree with you, dude, that Michigan is just building for the future, and they're not building to have one standout year. They're building to consistently be in championship contention every year, to consistently, be in the Big Ten championship, go to the college football playoff, have a chance at a national title. And it takes time, but Harbaugh is building. He's putting layer upon layer upon layer. And once this thing is built, I don't think you're going to see it crumble down. He's building it for the long run, for the next decade, 2 decades. And I think you're going to be really excited. I think us Michigan fans, when it pays off, it's going to be very, very sweet. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited.
True fans have to suffer.
That's right.
It's a glory, and it just makes it tastes that much better when we do.
Yes. But suffering, yes.
You win the Big Ten, and when we do make it to the playoffs, and when we do win it all, and I believe it's going to happen.
And like you said, it comes with a price, and we have to suffer as fans. But not only do we have to suffer, the football players have to suffer on the physical side, but I think more so on the mental side, because as you're preparing for these games, as Michigan is preparing for Minnesota, one of the big things that they have to do is go through game film. One of the big things that they have to do is mentally suffer through the coaches' critiques and the repetition in the film room and looking it over, going back in their dorm rooms, watching the game film, watching their specific position, whatever it is, every little minute detail. That's something that you and I are very familiar with growing up and playing football, playing for one of the best programs in the state of Michigan under Coach Jack Sugars. We gave him a shout out last week. I'll give him a shout out again this week. Man, I want you to kind of bring through us. I know we both have stories. We played about 4 or 5 years apart on varsity, but still under the same coaching staff and the same preparation that went into it. Let's share some of our experiences when it came to the mental preparation of getting ready before game. I want you to place yourself. It's week 1, okay? You're about to start your season off. You're playing a good team. Even though we didn't start off in conference play, we usually played like a team that we blew out. Say you're getting ready week 1 against Ravenna, or you're getting ready week 1 against Whitehall, and you're during this COVID season and you're preparing. What are you doing the week of the game as we're heading into that? What do you remember from that?
I mean, it's crazy because, I mean, you come from summer camp, or for Michigan, it's the fall camp. But you're going through these 2-a-days, or a lot of times these long 3-4 hour practices, and and then all of a sudden you go to game week, and that first game week, all of a sudden it's not completely different, but it is different because all of a sudden everything's just warp speed. It's fast. Monday you're doing a lot of game tape, and you're sitting down in the locker room, and the lights are dimmed down. You have your coaches all pointing out to who you're supposed to be blocking, or who to target, who to tackle, the different formations, schemes, offense, defense, all the players, knowing all the players about their names, where they live, what they eat. I mean, just everything. You're learning the inside and out of that team that week, and you're doing that. You're studying the film, you're breaking it down, and you're memorizing everything, every play, every single thing through film. And so film is huge. Breaking down the film, learning it. I used to love sitting there in the locker room with the coaches around, and them pointing out, that's who you got to block. This is what you got to do. Pointing us out in the locker room. Hey, this is what you do. Before the game, the film room. And it's just, you have all that energy, all that excitement, and you get the anxiety and a little bit of stress, and just making sure that you do what you're supposed to do for the team. And so, yeah, it's the week leading up to that game, the pregame on Thursday nights, for us in high school is before Friday. But you got the pregame day where you're running through your through your weekly practice progressions, and you're kind of finishing up and making sure that you have the ice on the cake, and just making sure everything's perfect. You're dotting your I's, crossing your T's, kind of going through the motions and making sure everything is perfect for Thursday. I'm sure Michigan's doing that on Friday and even Saturday morning still, trying to go through it. And so there's game week is just, it's amazing. You got, for us, we had Thursday night meals where we would have a team member would host a team meal. We would sit down and as a team and pray and eat food, and the host of the parent who hosts the team meal, that they choose what to make. And it was amazing. We remember we had burritos a couple times, wet burritos. You'd have 30, 40 people there, and
a lot of people.
A lot of people, and you're having
which
fun.
Was great. Which was great growing up in Michigan, because when you made dinner in the last parts of the season or in the playoffs, you just stored all those burritos in the garage and they were frozen, and then you just brought them inside, and you're able to use your garage as a fridge in the north during those times, because it stayed so cold out there that you were able to keep your food cold. So I remember when we had team meals and burritos and stuff, we would just keep them out in the garage. They would stay frozen, and then we just bring them in inside and warm them up days after the game. And we just had burritos for like a week. I remember that.
And then then Friday you have the team meal. Usually it's in the early afternoon, or the whole team sits down with the coaching staff, and you guys eat a team meal together. And usually it's a really good pasta. A lot of carbs, good healthy carbs, and it's just a good nutritional dinner. And you'd eat that early enough to let it digest and to really give you the energy that I believe was key to that game night. For some reason, man, it was just like superfood,
Yeah, superfood.
It was like spinach for pot pie,
That's right.
It was amazing. It was that nectar that you needed right before the football game, and that's why we were always amazing football.
Yes. Now bring us right before. Now bring us to right before the game. So we're in there. We're in the locker room. Warm ups are done. I know nerves are pumping. You're mentally getting prepared. Last minute things going through your mind, but really you prepared so well during the week, and now you're just ready to go out there and let it loose. You're just ready to go out there and cut it loose and do your job, take care of what you have to take care of, but the nerves are still high. You can hear the band playing in the background outside the locker room. You can smell the popcorn. You can hear the chatter. You can feel the crispness of the Michigan fall high school football weather. Bring us through a little bit. What are you going through in those moments before you head out onto the field?
I mean, for one, you almost can hear the locker room wall shaking because the crowd is just hyped up. The band's playing, so you got all these emotions. Of course, you want to do good, not only for yourself, but for your team and for your coaching staff and for all the fans and your parents and everybody watching. And this is going to be on film week for the following week. But you've been trained so well. Your coaching staff does such a good job that your scout coordinators. Our scout team coordinator at the time was Coach Smith, which he was amazing. But I mean, overall, the whole coaching staff does such a good job of getting you prepared. So when it comes up to that moment right before you're going out there, you don't want to. You want to impress everybody. You don't want to lay anybody down. So I was always nervous. I had a lot of anxiety. I was very nervous and stressed out before football games, and I would automatically get sick. Like right before, I'd say 5 minutes to 25 minutes before we go out, I would just get a really bad stomach ache and I would throw up. I mean, I threw up before every football game, except for probably like one or two of those games. But I would get sick and throw up, man. I mean, especially the rivalry games. If this was like a Minnesota-Michigan game, you got PJ Fleck over there, and you're the underdog going in. Yeah, it's scary. It's nervous. It's exciting, but you're nervous and anxiety. And I used to throw up, man. We'd be praying. Everybody in the locker room, we'd be kneeling down, praying, holding everybody's hands, and people would just pass me a bucket because they knew I was going to throw up.
That's right.
And I couldn't help it. It happened every single game, man. It's just
Yeah.
my nerves were just shot. But then as soon as we got out there and we sing the national anthem and we start, after that first play,
You're good to
all
go.
those butterflies go away, all the nerves go away, and you're just there to play ball. And you got
Yeah.
this. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, just that natural football instincts kick in.
Yeah.
And you're just having fun.
And then it's just muscle memory, and you're just doing exactly what you train to do. I think when I think of preparing for these big games, I won't go into detail. I think a lot of the things that you shared are the exact same things that I remember going through those weeks and leading up to the game. But I remember specifically one week we were playing Mason County, and we just throttled them. It was like 49-0 or something. But as soon as I got home, as soon as the game was done, the coaches were already handing out game film for Montague because we had Montague the next week. And I remember taking the game film, going home that night. Dad was working in Iowa at the time, so I don't think he had made it home yet. And so I went straight home on a Friday night, and I just started watching game film. I just started looking at my position. I started looking at Montague. I started looking at what I need to improve on, what they're doing. How can I be the best prepared going into that game? So that way, when I do get nervous, when I do feel like I'm going to get sick heading up to Montague, I know I'm not sick because I'm not confident in what I'm called to do, because I know I'm very confident. I'm very well prepared. I'm just nervous because it's a big football game. But as soon as that whistle blows on that first play and you crack the helmet and the ball snapped, you feel really good. And you know that you have prepared better than the man in front of you. And hopefully every single other person on your team is doing the same thing. And so
that's right, man. And the thing is, too, is you have to go out there and know you're going to war, man, for your brothers.
Going to war. Exactly.
For your buddies next to you that you train your butt off on the off season. All year long, you're in the weight room, you're working out, you're sweating, you're going through challenges, you're all this preparation up for this, 60-minute game.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot going into it leading up to that game, to the kickoff. And but once you're out there and you're under the lights and you got the crowd and you can smell those walking tacos and
and they're ready to go.
And chili dogs, and everybody's got their hot hand warmers and everything else, man.
That's right. And on a big scale, that's what these players are going through now. Yeah, they're heading into a game to where there may not be any fans, there may only be parents and stuff like that, but this is a big game, and this Michigan football team is preparing for a big game this Saturday night. Again, it's going to be College game days heading up there. This is a big game for the first game of the season, mid to late October. We're heading in there. We're rowing our boats up there. College game days rowing their boats up to Minnesota, up to Gopherland, and they're preparing for this big top. I think you can say top 20 game, but really I feel like it's a top 10 matchup because this game is going to really dictate the rest of our season. We need to win this game. We need to win this game. We cannot drop this opener at Minnesota. And so we're transitioning into this week. It's game week. I just can't believe it's already here. I felt like COVID has really messed so much up, but now we're here. It's week 1 for the Big Ten, week 1 for Michigan. Tell us a little bit when you think of Minnesota, when you think of PJ Fleck, when you think of row the boat, you think of how these players are running out there with these golden boat paddles. The smell in the air. You smell a little bit of gopher meat, maybe something's cooking. Maybe you've eaten some before. I've heard that you can tell us where we can get some of that gopher meat from, and I'm getting excited. So before we jump into the meats of game day and what we can expect this Saturday, let's have some fun roasting Minnesota in a good way, because we have a lot of respect for PJ Fleck. But I love the whole row the boat thing. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. But at the same time, it just cracks a lot of laughs. And so we're all rowing our boats up there, getting ready for this game. But I think Minnesota's boat's going to sink. I think it's going to sink harder than the Edmund Fitzgerald did in Lake Superior in the 1970s.
If it was me, I would love to sink the boat. I would take the cannonball and blow it right straight through their boat. If anybody knows where to get gopher meat, let me know, because I want to smoke some out this come up weekend.
Yeah,
I want to smoke it.
I can't imagine what gopher would taste like. When Becky and I were in Denver, Colorado for a honeymoon, we we went to like an exotic animal hot dog place where we had like moose, elk. I think we had rattlesnake. We had buffalo or something like that. Super weird, but there was no gopher hot dog.
Well,
So I'm kind of, is it chewy? Do you think? Is it?
I'm sure it's pretty easy to find, man. All you gotta do is get some gopher traps, set them out in your front yard. It's
Yeah, it's pretty true.
I'm sure it tastes good, man. Especially me, I can smoke out meat pretty well. So
Yeah.
I'm all about it. So and PJ Fleck, look, PJ Fleck's a good coach.
He is.
So I do give them respect. We are coming in this game underdogs,
Yep.
by 2.5 points. I mean, he's been a exciting coach to watch.
Yeah.
He's got these players hyped up, and he's doing a good job coaching them. And right now, they're trying to row their boat, but it's going to sink because I'm going to tell you right now, Michigan's going to march into Minnesota, and we're going to knock their socks off.
Yep. I don't think they realize that they're putting their boat in about 2 feet of water. They're not going to be able to row it anywhere. We're just going to march right in there, and we're going to tip the boat over. And I'm excited about it, but again, in all seriousness, man, I do respect PJ Fleck when he was at Western Michigan and seeing what he did there, bringing them to the New Year's Six Bowl, and now he's at Minnesota, and just the way that he's rallied those players. People don't expect a Minnesota coach to come in and do what he did, so there's not as much pressure on him because this is something where nobody expects PJ Fleck to do what he's done in these last couple of years.
I'm gonna break his paddles, man. That's what I want to do.
But on Jim Harbaugh's side, there's always pressure because it's Michigan. It's one of the most historic tradition college football powers in the country. The most winningest program. There's a lot of expectations for Michigan to always be a consistently good team and to win these big games on the road. And so there's a lot of pressure on Michigan, not because they seem to be like a 2-point underdog or whatever. There's pressure because even though we are an underdog, people are expecting Michigan to come out on top. Even though they're an underdog, people are not expecting Michigan to lose this game. They're expecting Harbaugh to go in there and to get a big victory. And it doesn't look great on paper because Harbaugh, I believe, is like 2-7 or something like that on the road against top teams and in games that matter as underdogs. And so I think the biggest game.
Yeah, especially when it comes to us having the game day of the week.
It's
I
huge.
feel like every time Lee Corso puts that helmet on, or I just feel like Lee Corso in general, they're just bad luck, man.
Lee Corso, I think Lee Corso has like a vendetta against Michigan or something. He always seems to pick when we went up to the game day in Ann Arbor a couple years ago against Wisconsin, he picked Wisconsin to win. I think there's something that he has where he just doesn't pick Michigan, but I enjoy it when he does because we don't have a real mascot, which shout out to Murder Wolf, the unofficial official mascot for Michigan. I really want him to be our mascot. Again, we're going to give him another shout out at the end, but we don't have a mascot. So Lee Corso puts on just this gigantic football helmet and it's just huge and it's really funny. So I hope he does pick us just for the sake of him wearing that new helmet.
I will say too, the Harbaugh has not met the expectations for a lot of Michigan fans in general when it comes to away games, especially as an underdog or a top 25 team that we're playing against. He hasn't met the expectations on the road, which I think has been nerve-wracking and kind of disappointing in many ways to a lot of fans. But the thing is the Michigan program went from the dark ages and we're slowly creeping out, and Harbaugh has done a wonderful job as a whole getting us out of that hole. And I think this is going to be a signature win this coming up week with Michigan beating Minnesota. And I think we're going to take their paddles away and row their boat back to Ann Arbor.
I think so too. They're not going to have any paddles. They're just going to be stranded out there. I think what it comes down to, obviously, look, we are excited to see Joe Millen. We're excited. I hope he comes out and he throws a slant route or something the first play of the game just to get his confidence level up there to know that he can do that. I hope he comes out and throws the ball around and does these things. We're excited to see Joe Millen, but in all honesty, what it's going to come down to is our front seven on defense because they have Tanner Morgan, they have Rashad Bateman, they call him Batman, who's a wide receiver. They have a very veteran offensive line who are all coming back from last year. This is a really good, skilled offense who is used to playing together. And so I think the MVPs of this game, when you look at this Michigan-Minnesota game, it's going to be won or lost with our defensive front. I think our defensive 7, and especially our linebacker core, LBU, linebacker U, I think it's really going to come down to them in the way that they put pressure on Tanner Morgan, the way that they stay disciplined in their individual responsibilities, and just go out and flat out hit somebody. Don't make any stupid mental mistakes. But when it comes down to it, you're going to see this game won or lost with our front 7 on defense.
Well, yeah, I think you hit it right there. I think the rush is going to beat this team. I think the defensive line and our linebacker core is gonna make us or break us, and I think they're going to end up making us. I think they're going to sink the boat. And I think with linebacker coach Brian Jean Mary, I think he's been doing a great job. And I think having Cam McGrone back there as the defensive quarterback, and with Ross back there, and I just think we got a great linebacker core, and our defensive line is outstanding. I mean, you're looking at a defensive line that I think is better than any other defensive line in the Big Ten. And that's just me. Am I being a little confident? Yeah. I think we're going to be amazing on defense, and I think that's going to show up. I think the rush is going to end up being what beats Minnesota. I think we're going to put a lot of pressure on this Minnesota junior offensive line, and I think we're going to put a lot of pressure on their wide receivers with Rashad Bateman and Tanner Morgan, and they got Autumn Bell too as a wide receiver to look out for. But I think we're going to do a good job, man. I really do.
Yeah. I'm nervous. I'm excited. Right now, it's more the build up. We have a lot of weekly duties with our jobs and things like that. But once Thursday or Friday rolls around, we're going to start really kind of. I feel like I get kind of sick, just as the Michigan football players do, because I understand what they're going through. And they're going through at a more intense level at the college level in football. And so, but come Thursday or Friday night, man, I'm going to be pretty excited, but at the same time, I'm going to be nervous. And I think I'm going to be nervous because Saturday, the game doesn't start until 7:30. It's a primetime game. And so we're going to be really waiting the anticipation of it. But I really do believe that Jim Harbaugh is building this thing well, and we're going to see Michigan come out and just put on a really good game. Now, obviously, there's going to be things taken away to where it's like, look, we got to improve on this. New quarterback, a couple new players, first game, COVID, all these things. You saw the effect of it throughout the league. I mean, SEC looks their defenses are just awful. They look like Big 12 defenses, and so I think going into this, we have to expect not everything to be perfect. But I do expect to see a solid performance, and I do expect Michigan to come out on top in this. I really do think it's going to happen.
Well, and the thing is, too, is I truly believe that I think the first quarter in general, I'm expecting to see errors, and I'm expecting to see butterflies and nervousness and just, that first quarter, first game type of play, probably even the second quarter. I expect it to be a little slow, and especially with Harbaugh, he's a little bit more conservative at first anyways. Now we know Josh Gaddis likes to rock and roll, so speed and space all the way. So I'm expecting to see something. I'm expecting to be surprised. Okay. Yeah. I'm expecting to see something from Joe Milton that we have never seen yet in the Harbaugh era.
Yep.
This is his first true recruit that he's bringing in as a quarterback. I expect big things for this man and this gentleman, and he's I want to be surprised when I watch this game. I want to see something big happen, at least by the second quarter from Joe Milton, from the offense in general. I want to see these. We got a really good wide receiver core, and I've heard some pretty big developments on the wide receivers that they're just really jiving and coming together. I heard with Ed Warner that our offensive line is really grooving and starting to look really good. Ryan Hayes is really standing out. And best artist.
I think the biggest thing too is we just we can't get down quick. It can't be a Penn State type game on the road to where we go in there, we get down 21-3 or something, where we're trying to dig ourselves out of a hole. It can't be
Right,
that
I
type of
agree.
game. We have to go in there. We have to really show our strength on the defensive front, dictate the line of scrimmage, own that part of the field. And, you know, if we get it's out kind of slow, as long as we're not giving up big plays, and it's starting off slow to where both teams are kind of getting their footing in, I think Michigan's going to be just fine.
Well, I think these boys are hungry. I
Yep.
think they're hungry for smoked gopher.
I agree.
And I believe they got traps set up everywhere around that football field. And they're going to find it. They're going to find the gopher. They're going to eat it. They're going to share. We're going to feast.
That's right.
I think Kwity Paye is ready. I mean, he wants a ring, man. These guys want rings.
Yeah, it's going to
I
happen.
think they're hungry. And I think it's different because Joe Milton's hungry. When he walked in as a freshman, he was hungry. He said, "Put me in." He wants a ring. These boys want a ring. And that reminds me of back in 2005 when Oak Ridge went and got a state championship.
That's right.
Those boys were huge. Our seniors and juniors were just they were big, but they were hungry. And they knew right off the bat, they had the confidence. We are going to go. We want a state championship. We're going to go get it.
That's right.
And they said that every day. We're going to go get a state championship. Yeah, we're state champions. We're going to go do it. We want it. We're hungry. We want that ring, and we're going to go do it. And they set out and they went and did it.
That's right.
And the same thing with the same trend I'm seeing with Michigan. These boys are hungry. They want Big Ten conference. They want to beat Ohio State. They want to make it to the playoffs, and they want a national championship. That's what they want. And people from even in the inside as Michigan fans, you know, they're like, whoa, okay, stop drinking the nascent Kool-Aid there, big dog. You know what I mean?
Well, since we're drinking the Kool-Aid here, we're gonna give our predictions. We're gonna give a couple of predictions here. We're gonna give our predictions for this game. Brought to you by Blue Michigan Kool-Aid. Shout out to Blue Michigan Kool-Aid. We're gonna give our predictions for this game, and then we're gonna get kind of crazy and we're gonna give our predictions for the season. All right, so we're gonna make some bold predictions. Let's take the next 30 seconds or so to do that. I'll give my prediction first, and then you can go ahead and get ready and give your prediction for this coming up game and season. I think Michigan, I think it's going to look a lot like Michigan did against Wisconsin a couple years ago in Ann Arbor when game day came. I think it's going to start off a little slow, but I think Michigan's going to play really solid defense. Joe Milton's going to get into his groove, and I think our running game is really going to explode on offense. I think we're going to take a lot of time away off the clock. I think we're going to play great offense on the running side of the ball. I think Joe Milton's going to make some big plays to the air, but I think it's going to really be owned in the in-depth running back group that we have. The defensive front is going to, again, they're going to be the MVPs of the game, of why we win this game. I say Michigan's going to come out with a huge win. We're going to win 38-21. I think Michigan's going to come out and make a statement right away, 38-31. You heard it here first. I think Michigan's going to come out and win this game big like that. I think it might be slower, but once the mid-third quarter to fourth quarter hits, we're going to put up some points, and we're going to run away with it. It's going to be 38-31. And for the whole season, I'm going to say this right now. It's 2020. A bunch of crazy things are happening. I think Michigan is a quarterback away and mental errors away from, or a lack of, from beating Ohio State. We will go 8-0, and we're going to win a Big Ten championship and get into the college football playoff this year. So I'm putting it out right there first. So for all of you Buckeyes out there, it's happening. We're going 8-0. We're beating you. We're going to the Big Ten championship, and we're going to make it to the college football playoff. And so the record's going to go from 58-51-6 is the overall record to 59-51-6. And so that's my overall prediction, Kyle. What do you have?
Man. Oh, wait, tell me, you were drinking that Kool-Aid way too strong, bro. You were putting a lot of sugar in there, man.
Get out of here.
I mean, man, that is going to get so many Twitter emojis. I mean, you're going to have every Ohio State fan laughing at you and crying, man. That's, yep. I mean, how can anybody take you serious? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. This is, look, me personally, and we already know Lee Corso, he's going to turn around and he's going to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota. You know what I mean?
He will.
A lot of people on Twitter, they're saying Michigan, might beat them by 3 points. Michigan might beat them by a touchdown. We're talking a lot of people I've seen on Twitter, on my Twitter feed, 31-24, 31-28, or 24 low scores, 24-21, or Minnesota beating Michigan. And that's what probably the most responsible, more realistic person would say. But here at the Gulo, that's just not going to happen because we're true blue Michigan fans.
What is the Kool-Aid telling you?
My prediction, man.
Oh.
You don't got nothing on this, Lee Corso. This is true right here, big dog. My prediction is Michigan 45-24.
That's right, man. I love it, dude.
We're gonna roll that boat.
we're gonna roll the boat, man.
Hey, we're pirates, man. We're gonna take that boat from them. We're gonna get back to Ann Arbor.
Get back to Ann Arbor with a big victory. Now.
That's right, big dog. True blue, baby.
Oh man, I love it. The towel from the Michigan-Wisconsin game.
Oh yeah, we'll be trolling them. We'll be trolling. Yeah, the towel from Wisconsin. We'll be singing "Jump Around."
That's right. All right, what's your prediction for the season before we jump into it? Because this could be really good or really bad. If we lose this game, then both of our, at least my prediction is bad. But if we win it, we're still good. So what's your prediction for the season?
Look, everybody's probably, a lot of people have probably seen my pinned tweet. I pinned my tweet of my predictions for the whole year.
Yeah.
And yeah, me and you are both out there, man. We're just, we do this every year to ourselves. We shoot ourselves in the foot and we end up, so nobody listened to our predictions because most of the time, 99.9% of the time, we're wrong. But
except this year.
Except for this year, because we're delusional fans, man. We believe, as brainwashed Michigan fans, that we're going to go 8-0.
That's right.
My prediction, baby.
8-0.
I predict 8-0. I have a Twitter. I got my Twitter notes right here. Put up to the screen.
That's right.
But pretty much, if you want to go onto my Twitter and you can see my pinned tweet, you can. Kyle Larrabee _ or Larrabee Kyle _. But pretty much I have Minnesota. Michigan's going to beat Minnesota on the rush. We're going to win by our rush defense. Michigan State coaching staff can't beat Michigan staff. So pretty much we're going to beat Michigan State with our coaching staff.
Yep.
That's just going to happen. And then Indiana, a lot of people think Indiana's going to be a sneak game, that Indiana's going to end up beating Michigan for the first time. I believe, who's your daddy? I believe that Michigan's going to keep that streak alive since 1987. I think we're going to end up beating Indiana. I just do. We're going to beat Indiana. Come on now. Wisconsin, I think Milton's going to destroy linebackers there. I just see it. I think he's going to pick them apart. That's going to be the game that Milton really comes out, and he just shows everybody why he deserves the Heisman.
Heisman.
I'm drinking that Kool-Aid, Bo.
Man. All right.
Rutgers. Where are they located? Where are the Rutgers located, man? Penn State. I think Cam McGrone is going to ruin Sean Clifford.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make him his little baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think he's going to Sean Clifford's going to be crying after the game after Cam McGrone's done with him.
That's right.
And then I think the running backs with Maryland, I think our running backs are just going to eat them up alive. They're going to take them out for lunch and take their lunch money as they take them out to lunch. And
that's right.
Eat all their food and eat turtle meat while they're out there against Maryland's. And so and then Ohio State, I think Michigan's defense is going to contain Ohio State below 31 points for the first time. And God, who knows? I think Don Brown's going to be lifted up on all the Michigan shoulders as they rush out of Ohio State Stadium and praising Don Brown. And Harbaugh's going to be lifted up on his shoulders, on all the Michigan shoulders. I think we're all going to be jumping up and down to the jump up around song.
That's right.
It's going to be nuts, man. I think, you know what? I think Michigan fans are going to tear down Ohio State's field goal post this year.
Oh, man, that would be nuts.
That's how bad it's going to be. I think we're going to end up beating Ohio State. We're going to keep them below 31 points. Joe Milton's going to have a standout game. I think our defense is going to be on point, and I just think we're going to pull it out. So I think
Hey.
we're going to go 8-0. We're going to go win the Big Ten Conference and make it in the playoffs.
That's right.
And heck, you know what? While you're in the playoffs, you might as well go get a natty.
Might as well go get it. Let's take one step at a time. Right now, we're saying, look, 8-0. We're going to beat Minnesota this weekend. 8-0. We're going to the Big Ten championship. We'll make more bold predictions as we continue to see our dreams become a reality and our predictions become a reality. But again, Kyle, as we close out here, I'm excited. I'm excited to share this moment with you, with our family, and with all of our Michigan brothers and sisters over social media and even in person. I'm super stoked. I'm glad that the season is able to happen for us, but more so for the players, that they get to enjoy this time together in this season of life as they're playing football, and as they go to set out for a Big Ten championship and a big win, a Big Ten win against Minnesota this week. And so,
this week coming up is my 10-year anniversary with my beautiful wife, Tiffany. So we'll
shout out to you guys in marriage.
Yes, we will be out dating and having fun in Charleston and Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And
right.
Then I will be going to a hotel where I'll be watching the Michigan game in my white robe.
Oh, nice.
And my Michigan helmet.
I love it.
Yep. Yeah, man, I can't wait. We're going to eat over at the home team grill with the chicken wings and all the – yeah, so I'm going to be looking for gopher meat too, though.
That's right.
So
man, I'm so excited. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for this big game on Saturday. And again, before we head out, we have a couple of moments for some pets that mean a lot to us that we're going to give shout outs to them as we enter into this big first week of football. And so again, the first one is Corky, our Cocker Spaniel dog, is our childhood dog, our first dog. He died. Kyle, let's go ahead and give a moment of silence for Corky. And moving on to our dog, Suds, who's a Bichon. He lived for 16 to 17 years, lost a bunch of teeth. He's a great friend, though. He just continued to grow stronger and stronger as the years go on. May he rest in peace. Kyle, let's give a moment of silence for Suds. And last but not least, our miniature collie, Mia, our dog who never ran out of the yard. And when she did, we made sure she never did again. And she was just a fantastic dog, a great childhood dog for all the neighbors. And she sadly died after she ate too many pieces of Little Caesars one night, and she passed away. And so, and actually right here again, almost forgot her. Can't forget her. Her picture, Mia Larrabee. So Kyle, let's go ahead and have a moment of silence for her. And also, too, we want to lift up the Murder Wolf, a.k.a. the official, unofficial hashtag mascot for Michigan. Again, we're going to keep advocating for you. We're going to continue to put you on our show. We want you to be on the sidelines, rooting you on. We love you. And last but not least, for all of you Buckeye fans out there, brought to you by the Gulo, 58, 51, and 6. That's the overall record. And this year it's going to be 59, 51, and 6.
Don't forget it. Don't forget it.
Don't forget it. Can't forget it. But next week, when we talk to you guys, when we come to you guys, is we're 1-0 after we have a sweet, sweet victory over Minnesota. Remember all these predictions, and we can't wait to see you guys next week before we bring home, or after we bring home the Little Brown Jug, and as we go to keep Paul Bunyan home after we beat Michigan State. And so go Blue, go Gulo, and we'll see you guys next week.